The internet is an immense source of information that we have available at our fingertips on our computers. But in the same way that practically anything that we are interested in locating, we will be able to find on the internet. In the same way, the information that we could say is relevant to us will be accompanied by many, many pages of additional information that we may not find so interesting. It will be accompanied by many, many pages of additional information that may not be of interest to us. Then in the same advantage is the disadvantage of having so much information on any topic. When we look for something, we will find perfectly thousands or even millions of pages when we perform a simple search. Initially is why we have to introduce the concept of finding information in an effective way to find the information that is relevant to the problem we want to solve or for what we want to know. We are therefore going to list a series of principles that govern or that we have experienced or that experience tells us should be taken into account when searching for information on the internet. The first thing we have to do is to identify the key concepts. Before performing a search, we have to know what is the essence of the information we want to locate. Well, after that concept, sometimes it will be more difficult or easier. We have to translate it into words in the language we normally use. Then we convert that concept into words, and then we have to think about what kind of source, where we think that information can be, who we think may have reliably collected that information, who we think may have reliably collected that information. Well, in that case, what we do is, with those words, we introduce them in a search engine. And normally, in the majority of the cases, it will give us directly the information or some page with the information that we require. That will happen in many occasions. Nevertheless, there are many times when, as we have mentioned, we are flooded with information, or we simply do not get anything with those words. Or we get information, but it is not appropriate to the topic we are looking for. For example, Valencia can be either a city or the name of a soccer team. So in many occasions, there are topics that flood the network, flood the internet with greater power than other topics. So if we really look for information with some words that we have selected on a particular topic, which in turn is very popular for other topics, that same word on the internet, logically, it will appear hidden relevant information. So in complex searches, what we have to do is to identify unique words, words that mainly mean what we want to search for, and only that fundamentally. It will also be very interesting to identify the organizations, the sources that may have that information in a reliable way. Just as it is very easy to publish on the web, it is very easy to publish truthful information, information that is not too accurate or even erroneous in many occasions or even biased, information that looks at the terms from one point of view but not from any other. Then we have to think about identifying organizations that may have that information in a reliable way. For example, if we are looking for CPI data, logically we can find it in many pages, but we should probably identify which organization is the one in charge of calculating and publishing this index. It is possible that in a search the pages found will always appear sorted in order of popularity. So it is possible that this original source, the source that has really calculated the data, is not the most popular when it comes to writing about this subject, because afterwards the considerations that are made on the subject of the CPI, for example, are immense in the media. So it may happen that when we enter a term such as the one we have mentioned, we will probably find lots of pages, thousands, millions of pages. But if we are really able to identify the organization that is in charge of calculating it, logically it will have the objective data. On many occasions, it may also happen that we need to think about more general issues of the search. This can happen perfectly when we have identified a word. We enter it, and it happens that it does not find any page related to that information. For example, the name that we have, because it is not exactly an old name, for example, that was given to some subject, then it is possible that we have to move up from the point of view, to see the information with more perspective, to think in more general terms, and to introduce in the search engine these more general terms. So that by selecting all the pages that we find, we can arrive at the information that we need. But that maybe in that page no one had introduced the word that we had selected. Well, for the same reason, it may happen that we think or need to use synonyms of the words that we have identified, keywords. It may happen that they are key for us, and we think that it is the word that truly defines the concept that we are looking for. But it may happen that the person who has compiled that information has not thought of that word, but has thought of a synonym, has posted it, has not thought of that word, but has thought of a good synonym. So logically, it is a good technique in cases where we do not find the information that we are looking for with the words that we have entered, because it may happen that we have to think of synonyms of the same or approximate words or approximate concepts. Identify other types of additional sources. It may happen that somehow, for whatever reason, it turns out that after a long time of searching, we do not really find the information we need. It may happen that we have to think about taking a detour so that through collateral information we can find a page that can somehow link concepts, linking words, linking information, that in the end can give us the result we need.